So is it a stretch to say that perhaps even from the 30s back, there may have been collaboration with OPIs, even with the Nazis in the early parts of the war?
A lot of people are saying just that yeah, the Germans did have an interaction with an OPI, and they were given a lot of technology. And of course, the Germans were into the occult big way. Um, I wouldn't be at all surprised if, yeah, Germany was given a lot of help during the 30s and 40s. I mean, they were so far advanced of everyone else. It's a wonder they did lose the war.
Which makes you wonder who else they were helping, because we seem to ramp up with some rather marvelous technology in a very short period of time as well. Um, it almost feels like a dialectic to me in just basically outfitting both sides and letting the best side win, or there was
Mhm.
an outcome that was projected. It seems like to me, Barry, looking at the history of World War II and what happened after, that everything blurred, that the Western powers basically melded into the Axis, and that we wound up being the people that we battled. And that's somewhat of a commentary, but I don't think it's all that far off the rim.
Yeah, I'd go along with that. Yeah, yeah.
And
And
it,
I think, yeah, the technology the Americans gained after World War II, and yeah, in leaps and bounds, and it's just progressed so quickly. You're at a stage now when it's unbelievable what is possible.
I
Uh,
guess where I
yeah,
want, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I probably can't go into any more detail at the
Okay,
moment.
no, that's fine. I just wanted to get your pulse on that. Now, obviously, we do go off on opinion and conjecture sometimes, but that's largely based on the fact that I think anybody that studies this material kind of has a gut level feeling about things after a while, where you just go, "Oh shit, that really does
Mhm,
look like it's true."
mhm.
And I like getting opinions along with facts. Obviously, we need the facts. Um, I'm going to ask you this. Can you tell me a little bit about retrieval?
Yeah, I can. I began to give some details on the Manticore forum, and then I had to hold until I got some clearance on whether I could actually proceed any further. But certainly, um, from my own experience, um, we have retrieved a number of craft of OPI origins, and some have been really, really strange. Um, I've got to be careful how I word certain things.
Okay.
One in particular that I did begin to mention was a retrieval done in Alaska in '89. Now, I've only managed to give very basic details so far. I could have gone further with that. I just haven't had the opportunity yet. But
Hmm.
that was, I can't give the date or the exact location other than it was northeast of Fairbanks.
Okay.
And they don't mind me saying the time, which was 0550 Zulu. So until they actually give me the real go ahead, I perhaps best not say too much. But that was a full retrieval. And what made that one stand out was we had literally a face off with American forces,
Uh-huh.
um, which did involve some gunfire. Luckily, no one was injured at all, but it was a case of a standoff face to face. We wanted that machine, they wanted that machine, and we got it in the end.
So basically, the military was there as well, but you managed to walk away with the goods on that.
Because of various high level string pulling, it was a
Okay.
case of we'd get it anyway.
Okay.
But because there are special units in the States, which I'm pretty sure you're aware of anyway,
Yes.
they were dispatched to the location to retrieve, and probably would have gone to Right Pat, I'm not sure. But we weren't moving, and it literally was a several hour face off, and shots were warning shots were fired. In fact, a very, very strange coincidence, if I can quickly say, one of the US personnel involved at that location at that time, I actually became friends with from 2006 onwards. He actually approached a forum I was on.
Okay.
We got talking, and over time, he got to talking of what he did in the past, and he started mentioning a strange event in Alaska in '89, and between us, we were jostling with bits and pieces, and then we formed the whole puzzle between us, and it just came to he was literally the one I fired at.
Is there any details you can give me on? I don't want to press you too hard. What sets this retrieval apart in terms of the uniqueness of what was found?
Well, because that particular object just simply materialized in the atmosphere. So alarms went off in the US, in the UK, and in Russia. It came very close to the Russians coming over and trying to retrieve the object as well.
I see. Yeah.
So yeah, there could have easily have been an international problem. But
so this was essentially a craft that dimensionally just appeared.
It just literally appeared in the atmosphere. Yeah.
Was the craft, to your knowledge, or if you can tell, was the craft in any way manned?
I'm not allowed to say.
Okay. All right. I understand that. Okay. I want to be considerate of your time. I don't know how much time you have to give to me, Barry.
Well, I'm fine for a while.
Because I do, again, appreciate you've been generous with the time and with the information. We talked a little bit about the bases. I want to go back to this a little bit. Mm-hmm. Tell me about connections with Pine Gap, Menwith Hill, and Chicksands, and possibly Dulcie. Oh,
right. Well, the main connection with all those establishments, obviously, is the NSA. The NSA are running all except Dulcie. Dulcie is one of those areas where I do not actually go to for my own reasons. Mm-hmm. Any other facility I haven't got a problem with, but Dulcie I'll tend to put to one side. That's an area I really go to. Chicksands, yeah, NSA. Menwith Hill, NSA. Pine Gap, NSA. Now, Pine Gap's very interesting because that's an area where you're going to get, I'm going to be careful how I word this, under certain conditions, all the top brass and various individuals will be located at Pine Gap.
Yes, I have a confirmation on that.
Yeah. There's an interesting 3 mile, some say 5 mile bore underneath Pine Gap. There's 2 similar ones under Peasemore. I'm not quite sure what they're for. There obviously is a reason, but it was never explained to me what these bores were for.
Say that again. What did you say? They're bores?
Bores, B-O-R-E-S.
Okay.
A massive long shaft.
Yes. Okay.
Pine Gap.
You're going there to keep going because that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah. There's two under Peasemore and this massive one under Pine Gap, which I'm told is between 3 and 5 miles. I can't verify that.
Yeah, I've been told again by somebody I interviewed, and I think this was probably Bob Dean, that these bases are in fact connected in a manner I don't completely understand, because Bob Dean has told me that he's been at Pine Gap and he got there from a location that made no sense at all in terms of actual physical location.
Yeah, well, that probably makes sense. Now, what I cannot confirm, because I've literally not seen this with my own eyes, but these very fast trains which are supposed to connect
various
underground bases.
And that actually fits as well, yeah.
Now, literally, they could exist. I've just got no knowledge personally of them. What connects the bases over here is straightforward road tunnels, but can employ magnetic, sorry, driven vehicles, but certainly not of the scope that a lot of researchers are saying that connects the US bases. These 1,000-mile-an-hour things, I couldn't say.
I mean, that just totally twists your mind to think that that's
yeah.
possible. But I'm there. I've gotten there because of other information that I've gotten from people, and like you, there's things I know I can't discuss either. I've been told things off microphone that are still not out in the public domain yet.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to go here for a minute again because it's been on the fringes of the conversation. Can you break out for me a little bit the delineation between negative ETs and those entities that would be benevolent? You talked early in this interview about the fact that you had, I guess, what we would call benefactors, those who were looking out for you. And clearly they've had their work cut out for themselves because obviously you've been a target for a number of years. A number of things have happened to you that have impacted you personally. And so you're aware of the fact that there are both negative and benevolent off-planet entities. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, that's the main point where I would, even though I'm one of Dr. Greer's witnesses, I would strongly disagree with his comments that they're all OPI are benign.
Yeah, thank you for that. I do too.
That is total garbage, because there are some real nasty beings out there, and he should not go public with these ridiculous statements and putting everyone into a false sense of security with such garbage. Certainly the elders, or the old ones. Now, these are the ones that literally seeded this planet millions of years ago. They began life here. They began life on a number of planets. They're regularly backwards and forwards to check on progress of this civilization. They probably had their job cut out with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but certainly there are a number of good. There's good guys and bad guys, just like everything else that's in the universe.
Well, and that makes complete sense. We're talking about galaxies and solar systems here,
exactly,
inhabited by beings. Yes, absolutely.
So you've got those that are hand in hand with certain governments, and they're not really for our benefit, because of human greed. Certain aspects of certain governments are working with these beings for their own ends. They'll come unstuck, though.
Are we heading towards a climax in this whole thing? It seems we are. We have pressure on the side of those who want disclosure, which I've said for years I think is ridiculous that we're ever going to see Obama or any national leader stand up and do a full disclosure, because I think they've got huge liabilities, first off. Secondly, it seems like, it seems to me like time's accelerating at a rapid pace at this point as well. But it seems like there's a drumbeat now that's moving us towards a realization as a planet. It's almost inescapable, the acceptance of off-planet beings. Are we heading towards a point where we are going to finally see the negative entities flushed out of the system? Are our benefactors going to finally assert themselves in a way that's going to rid us of this intergalactic menace?